Ready?
Welcome back to All Three Streets with me, Ryan Brower, and my CEO, Darren Kramer. Good to be back so soon after the last episode.
Yeah, it's great. We've got a bit of momentum. We went there. Can't say much happened from my side, but there's a lot of other great news to talk about. So, without further ado, back to you.
Yeah, you might be fooled into thinking it's 2018. We saw Jared Solomon coming back from what was a little bit of a disappointing run for him. He managed to finish in the final three. Got a great deal out of it. The three of them basically chopping the money. The title went to Mr. Mustafa, a French, fairly unknown player that I haven't had the pleasure of playing against. And Nav Nike, obviously the other one rounding up the final three. And your boy from Milnerton, our boy Jed Kosu from Team Pokerbet, who's now part of Team Shuffler. He got a fourth place finish, got pretty stiff running Queens into Kings.
Yeah, pretty brutal that. Queens and Kings, don't worry. I still got the scanner phone call, post-mortem. The RP could have done differently. Four-handed, in most situations, Queens is going in there. So, yeah, as you said, nice to see Jared back up top there. He's been a bit of a barren run, but where they say quality always rises to the top.
Yep.
So, yeah, good to see him out there.
Form is temporary.
Yeah.
But class is permanent. And if we're talking about class at the moment, there's one man that you can't ignore. Sugi, Mr. Sugen, he is making waves. He's just come back. I saw he was traveling in Madagascar with the Shuffle-Up team. Sorry, the Sunbet team. And he then came back and ended up teeing up in the Splendido series, taking down 3 trophies in one series.
As I spoke to him at the coffee shop, he told me he's buying another house. So when I asked why, he says the store is trophies. So good luck with that. He's piling them up. As a few of the guys say, anything between that $3,000 and $8,000 buying, he's found a niche spot. He's got a very good read on the players, playing really well, confidence is high. So yeah, long may this forward trajectory go, but very impressive and well done. Keep it up.
Excellent stuff. Someone else we can't ignore. I think we touched on Renette Shimani last episode. Renette took down, and in my memory, the first time a female has ever taken down a high roller at any series in South Africa. No deal. You'll recall in the previous series at Sunbet, she went heads up with Max Davison in the high roller. Didn't want to do a deal there. She ended up coming second. This time round, again, no deal. She had a pure win, took down 1.1 million for first, increasing her lead as the leading South African all-time money winner for females. And I think she must be comfortably in the top 10 and probably knocking on the top 5 now. Darren's looking a little bit worried. His spot's at where are you at the moment? Number 3?
Number 4, I think it is Ray Armagers.
Ray still has that lead with his $3 million win, 2007. And Jared, obviously, Ahmed coming up in the ranks. It might not be a long time till we see DK slip out of the top 5.
Nah, we got that for a while. We'll be back traveling. Tell the wife we got missing for 6 months. But yeah,
I wish I could have had you done child and get this many pink slips. But yeah, Renette's just a great run for her. I mean, her and Diane Walker were 2 of the 2 females in the final 3 at the Grand West version of the Sunbet Poker Tour main event at the latter part of 2024. And then she followed up with a second and a first in 2 high roll events. I mean, cementing her position as a quality player, and hopefully she can convert that into some results in Vegas later this year. Speaking of Vegas, we can't ignore the fact that Sunday the 13th of April, we have our next Vegas package. We're running 2 this month, 2 tournaments on our site this month. 2,500 plus 250 buy and rebuy add-ons, 180 grand package up for grabs. Hopefully we'll be giving away more than 1 in each of these events. There'll be plenty of phases and satellites running. Do not miss out at the opportunity to join Team Pokerbet in 2025 at the World Series of Poker.
As you were saying about the packages, we took a really strong big team last year. We're hoping this year to take a big team again. So obviously starting, I think it's next Sunday, your chance to join Team Pokerbet. Looking forward to it. New changes, GG Poker first year, as we mentioned in the last episode. So yeah, get on down, log on and register, and hopefully we'll see you part of the team.
Absolutely. And don't forget, there's also packages up for grabs. If you aren't lucky enough to win your seat, you can reach out to us, Vegas at pokerbets.co.za, for more information on being a part of Team Pokerbet and buying your way into the package. It includes flights, accommodation, merchandise, entertainment, and buy-ins to a whole host of World Series and sideline events potentially at the Win or the Aria. We want to really give everyone the most amazing experience, really get to play in multiple poker rooms. Obviously, playing in the World Series is something that you have on a bucket list, but the Win and Aria put on some great events as well. So we want to spread the love a little bit this year in Vegas. So reach out to us and let's take the Team SA flag across there and bring something back with us this year. We keep talking about it, but I really think it's time for us to capitalize and put South Africa back on the poker map internationally.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah, we're looking forward to that. I mean, if we turn our attention away from the poker for the time being, although before we do that, let's summarize last weekend's results in our Million Rand March Madness Guaranteed. It was a good event. We were really happy after a bunch of live series. We were worried about the turnout online, but we managed to smash the guarantee. We got to 1.12 million. And Troy Bolton, who won our previous one at the end of February, nearly went back-to-back. He finished second for 170K, losing out only to Mandela Fish, but insane results in such big fields for Troy Bolton to really go that deep twice.
Correct. As you said, new sort of player on the online scene there, and proudly showing all over Instagram about his first results, and now backing it up again. So yeah, great result. I know Mandela Fish has been working a lot in his game, getting some coaching. So nice to see that the time and the effort, get the desired results.
Absolutely. And we'll be having more of these big events coming up. Keep your eyes fixed. For the time being, April will be a focus on Vegas, but the next million won't be too far in the future. So as we jumped from our poker off to sports, I think the bid shop yesterday, I don't know why anyone would announce this on April 1st, but Rob Walter legitimately stood down as the Proteas short form coach. I mean, I find it very interesting. He has done some good things over the last 2 years. He managed to win a knockout game in a World Cup, which we haven't done previously. Obviously, a bit of disappointment after the Champions Trophy recently. We didn't put up a big fight against New Zealand in the semi-finals. But Rob was doing good things, and he was instrumental in building the Titans franchise before Boucher took over and then became the Proteas coach. I know Rob's living in New Zealand at the moment. We go way back to Pretoria days when he was a strength and conditioning coach at the Titans. He cited personal reasons. We haven't found out much more. But I think it's a sad loss to the continuity of SA ODI cricket and T20 cricket at the moment. And it'll be interesting to see who they replace him with. Have you got any early shouts? Do they go with Shukri, who's been doing a good job with the test side?
He really has. Just the problem is there with the scheduling. It's just too much for one person. The English, I think it's, he would try 3 different coaches, 3 different formats. Now I think going back to the 2-1. I think, I just said, he's also brought through a nice group of players. He's Tristan Stubbs started showing that promise, started delivering. There's a lot of these guys that, come up together. We do a very nice side. I know it's disappointing losing to New Zealand, but the future does look really bright. There's Luan.
Luandre. Speaking of Luandre, you're talking about an absolute wealth of talent coming out of St. Stephen's College. We at Pretoria Boys had a big rivalry with them. Maybe pick the Saints coach. Considering about 7 of the players in the ODI and Test squads are from St. Stephen's, it might not be a bad idea for continuity. But like you say, the schedule's demanding and it's tough to manage all 3. But we'll be keeping our eyes on South African cricket, which I really thought was going to fall apart when we saw the state of cricket South Africa over the last few years. But Graham Smith's work in getting the SA20 here and just getting more money back into the game, it's absolutely paramount to the survival of SA cricket. And it's seemingly, filtering on into the national side, and we've been getting results even with the struggles that we've had at sort of domestic and administrative.
I feel like, take for granted the depth that it creates. You've seen this in Indian cricket, which basically dominates every format, or at least is up to the top 3, because it just creates such a wealth of depth. And now what Graham has done in this SAT20, it's not just a superstar. It's the guys that are spending hours in the net with Rashid Khan, learning from Josh Buckler. All these guys have just been talking about Joe Root down here, the invaluable lessons you learn. So these guys that weren't being given the exposure, they were playing maybe domestic 4-day cricket, which barely had more than 100 people going to games. Now they're just being put in pressure situations. you can see which guys are able to respond. There's a filtering system that happens. So yeah, I have to say, as you said, kudos to Graham and the guys that really created that. And you'll see that Curb and Bosch, all these guys who come through the system, they ready to hit the ground running in international cricket. So yeah, looking forward for that continuity. And to see who takes over.
Yeah, definitely. Touching on your reference to the IPL, obviously IPL 2025 is well underway now. Most of the teams have already played a couple of games. Early successful starts for all challengers in Punjab. Punjab obviously signing Iyer, which is a huge scalp in IPL. Can RCB ever do it?
I mean, it's one of those, the fairy tale story. They've tried it with everyone. They bought the stars and now gone away from all the stars. And I thought even AB wrote a comment the other day about it just on paper looks the best balanced team they've ever had. So it's basically Kohli and a lot of talented players, but more workmen like team efforts. They took away the captaincy of Rob, but could this be the year? I think the whole of India would love that. If it's not for Dhoni, it's Kohli. But who knows? As you said, this Iyer, whatever he touched to gold, they've started off strong. They've won 2 out of 2. So it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. Taking a bit of time to get used to all the new teams. But overall, it's been a high-scoring, fast and furious tournament. And long may it continue. The RCB are at home today, playing the Titans. So it'll be interesting to see if they can continue and make it 3 out of 3.
Absolutely. And another big action on the weekend that we turn our attention to is the battle of the mediocrity. The battle of Manchester. City struggling to make top 4. United struggling to stay in the Premier League this season. All to play for, but not so much. It's not... Obviously, City is still getting pushed hard with Chelsea, Newcastle, Brighton. The battle for 4th place is on. It looks like Nottingham Forest have secured Champions League football after beating United last night. Unbelievable result again. Anthony Elanga, who United deemed not good enough, obviously coming back to bite us in the face. It's just very interesting to see that Nottingham Forest have managed to just keep it going the whole season. We're 30 games in, and they're sitting in 3rd place, knocking on the door of 2nd, I think 4 points behind Arsenal. Arsenal managed to do the job last night against Fulham, putting a little bit of pressure on Liverpool after a rather sort of shaky 2 weeks. Liverpool playing Everton tonight. Everton on form. Maybe a little slip up there can open the door for a slightly more exciting title race to the end of the season. But you'd imagine Liverpool still have too much of a gap.
Yeah, I think Liverpool, I said 12 points was just too many. But going back to the Manchester game, I just don't know where goals are going to come. We saw last night Harry Maguire coming on to play striker for United. That's where it's landed up. He had 6 touches. Zirkzee played 78 minutes. I think he had 0 touches in the box. So it's a dire situation. City now have Haaland. So they'll probably, they've got a bit of depth. They'll bring Marmoush and play Foden and all of that. But contrary, there'll probably be quite a low-scoring game. These guys are a little bit low confidence. No one really wanting to lose. So I'm not sure.
This sounds like DK's first pick for under 2.5 goals.
That's exactly where I'm going. So anyone listening out there, I must be honest. If I was a punty man, I thought Forest could never make top 4, could never last, per se. So don't follow it with a 5-star bet. But we'll give you a 2.5-star bet on under 2.5 goals or even under 3.5 goals if you can find 60 cents in that market. So I think it will be way more low scoring than people expect.
Absolutely. We're turning our attention off the rugby at the moment. There's not much interest at the moment in Super Rugby. The URC is obviously still shaping its way around, and I guess we're looking forward to our international. It seems like we get starved of the box for far too long every year, and then all of a sudden we get this glut of box fixtures. But it's going to be a big year for South African rugby.
Huge. I think it's going to be, they're talking about 15. The crazy part, we haven't seen any. So as you said, it starts in whatever June, latest year, obviously with the URC, they moved things, and pretty much until the rest of the year. I couldn't believe it. I think I was talking to a guy the other day. Is it September, October even, there's a rugby championship game, and then they go on tour in November. So there's a lot of rugby, a lot of player management that's going to need to happen, but very excited, looking forward to that. It's exciting. And yeah, but you also see, the end of the URC, Ninabe, Leinster haven't been able to win this Champions Cup. It's been one that's eluded them considering they basically had the best on the top 3 best teams every single year. I went and got Barrett, Geordie, not Bowden, sorry. And, they're really trying to do it. And there's a feeling that the Safa is going to be the one that helps him over the line. So cool to watch him. Although your beloved Bulls is probably the second best team. So that might land up in the finals. But just cool to watch that. And as that leads into the international scene.
Yeah, it's going to be important to see the player management. Rassie obviously likes to build depth in the non-World Cup years. A lot of combinations. We obviously know that Kitsop just retired. And there will be a couple others that probably won't make it to the 2027 season. So we've got to build depth. We also want to make sure that we secure enough wins this season because the fixtures and the draw for the World Cup happens at the end of the year. So your ranking is crucially important. Last year, we know in the World Cup, the last version, we ended up in the group of death with the worst run to the final. Didn't make a difference. But we can't really rely on winning 1-point matches in every knockout going forward. We also saw that they've included a round of 16 knockouts this year in the World Cup, which means that Ireland aren't going to make a quarterfinal.
So, they've, as we said last time, they're just trying to grow the game of rugby, trying to get way more teams involved. You've got a nice lead up, but I think it is important. I would like us to secure this number one spot. You just want to avoid, hopefully it's New Zealand, Ireland, France, top 4, so you can avoid. And then there's a bit of a gap, to the next. So, I feel lauded.
I had a premature celebration on the weekend being a massive Novak Djokovic fan. I thought he was about to take down his 100th ATP title. He made it through to the final against Menzik from Czech Republic, ranked 24 in the world. Djokovic lost 7-6, 7-6, both tiebreaks losing 7-4. He's usually the tiebreak machine.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's nearing the end of his career. We're not deluded here. The man's 38 years old almost. But it's interesting to see that he just couldn't with the BMT and in a 2-set match. I suppose his speciality are these 5 setters where he just gets in your head, and even if you're 2 sets to love up, he knows he can come back. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still going to do the job and make his 100th title down the line this year. But interesting to see this maybe come through.
I agree. That 100th title is coming. I don't think it's even. I think the more conversation is Tom on his side for another Grand Slam. I'll be honest. I was asleep, but I can tell you that I thought he was an absolute certainty. He just started to lose to these people before his career. And I suppose there is a time, and as much as he defies everything, because he is one hell of a sportsman and a specimen, he's driven and motivated. He's just this new wave, and this Menzic, 19, he didn't even know what Djokovic was at his prime. It's crazy. It's even a cool story. Said, obviously, hurt inside that he didn't mind losing to him, because when this kid was like 15, 14, would come train at his courts, in Belgrade, and he'd watch this guy develop. But it is crazy. It's just this new generation. They're young, they're fit, they've got this confidence. They don't know the Novak that never loses. So it's interesting to watch. There's murmurs that is he the third guy to, that they don't really have it. Casper Ruud doesn't live up to it. Zverev is pretty much a bit older than that group. So be nice to see, is it the third guy that adds to the Sin and Alcaraz? And I have 3 when one's off for a short little break. A doping ban for about tournaments at a few ATP Masters. I'm sure Novak would have liked a little bit longer. But it's just it's interesting to watch these next 2 Grand Slams. I think Wimbledon is his next big chance. I don't think the French, it's got a chance, but it's tough. Alca loves it. And it's still, you look at the Wimbledon, there's not that many big servers that are just going to rip through him. So I know I'm motivated. Andy in his corner, I think it's made them even. People just want to see something come from this. It's a very cool combination. You never thought you'd see it in sport, to be honest. 2 competitors working together. It does rejuvenate both of them, and be cool to watch. So I think the 100 comes. It now becomes a conversation is, with age not on his side, can he find another Grand Slam?
100%. Are there any other picks you got lined up for the weekend? Any DK's picks, special ones that you might feel a little bit of conviction to fire a 5-star bet into?
Well, I think one thing we'll talk about, Pokerbet's doing a nice offer is Scotty Scheffler for the Masters. Place a bet on the Masters, and you get a 50 Rand free bets. So that's quite exciting. Can he go back-to-back? Very nice warm-up. Roryville, Houston, finishing 1 off Mingwu Lee, who just held on. The pack was closing, but he managed to get done. always feel like if you win the Masters, you don't win the week before. You just, fine tuning your game. So there's that nice promotion. I do think it's got to go as close. But depends on that putter. Hasn't been as hot as normal. So if he gets that putter right, I think he wins. So that. And then another little one, actually. I think we talked about Punjab. They played Rajasthan Royals. A friend of mine, I was chatting to him in Joburg. He said this Rajasthan bunny attack is as bad as they come. So the little tip is, in the Rajasthan versus Punjab on Saturday, I'd probably go over runs on the innings runs on Punjab. And also a promotion, we've got a Pokerbet. If you bet anything during that game, you'll also be able to get a free bet. So bet 50, you get a 50-rand free bet in the Punjab versus Rajasthan Royals game. So 2 nice little promos if you're interested. And could be interesting in the value. For the Masters, obviously get that Scheffler. I don't know, there might be a few interesting ones. Jakob Nimmerman winning everything on the Live Tour. Not a bad price at 25-1.
Interesting stuff. I'll definitely be keeping an eye. There's something special about that music of the Masters and looking at his artificially green greens. I mean, it's insane to watch. The azaleas, it's one of the special weeks for a sporting fan in the year. So we'll be in front of the couch for the Masters and definitely keeping an eye on the upcoming tennis action as we lead into the first major of the year. From us, I think we've covered pretty much everything for this week. We'll be back after our Vegas packages have been nabbed. There's a little bit of a quiet break in the live scene for the next couple of months in SA Poker. I think late May, they'll be back at Carnival City for the Sunbet Poker Tour stop. We'll have plenty action on the site. Lots of exciting developments and promotions up for grabs, both on sports and poker. So don't go anywhere other than pokerbet.co.za, and we'll be seeing you on the tables. Cheers. Me, Ryan Bra, and my co-host, Darren Cromer. That's all for now. Ciao.
Cheers.
Are you ready?